President Biden downplaying concerns about his son Hunter after a report revealed that federal agents believe there is enough evidence to charge him with tax crimes and lying to purchase a gun.
Son, this is a kid who got, not a kid, he's a grown man. He got hooked on, like many families have had happen, hooked on drugs. He's overcome that. He's established a new life. He is, I'm confident that he is, what he says and does are consistent with what happens. I have great confidence in my son. I love him, and he's on a straight and narrow.
Meanwhile, a former CIA intelligence officer is doubling down and defending signing a letter claiming that the whole Hunter Biden laptop story is, you guessed it, Russian disinformation. Watch.
It has all the classic earmarks of one of these operations. You'll note elsewhere in the letter, if you read it, that it also says, we don't know if this is a Russian operation at all. That has been dramatically changed in the retelling of the story. But the letter is merely pointing out that this is the kind of thing that time after time after time, people who study Russian disinformation, intelligence officers who look at Russian tactics over the long period of time, this is the kind of thing they like to amplify.
Kaylee, the rich part of it, in addition to the fact that we pay his salary, is the refusal to acknowledge the amplification, as he puts it, since that point, that has been absolutely corroborated, that periodicals after periodicals, New York Times, Washington Post, all of those trusted sources that he's referenced have actually said it's not disinformation. There is absolute truth to it all, and yet there he is doubling down.
I encourage every single person watching this, go watch Bret Baier's interview with David Priess. First of all, it was excellent. It should be a master class in how to question someone, because Bret Baier really pushed on this and got David Priess in a position where he had to answer. You're exactly right. The New York Times, the Washington Post, they have all verified this laptop, but we don't even need their verification, because this is a laptop with thousands of pictures of Hunter Biden, thousands 100%. Of conversations with his father. But when you watch this interview, David Priess, he does three things that are stunning. One, he says he does not regret it. He doesn't regret it. Number two, he says this did not affect an election. I don't know how he knows that, because we have polling from John McLaughlin saying 4.6% of Biden voters said they would have voted differently. And then he stunningly doubles down on this having the hallmarks of Russian disinformation, despite everyone verifying this at this point as to it not being Russian disinformation. He said, quote, those words are still true. It was amazing to watch. Everyone take a peek.
That's right. Harris, last hour you had a great interview with former Congressman Jason Chaffetz on this, and you've explored this in depth as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to jump to the next interview that I had with Blake Masters out of Arizona after what you just said. So he thinks it definitely did affect the election.
There's no question.
Absolutely. And it's the reason why he says that the election of 2020 was not fair. And by the way, he's not alone in saying that it wasn't. 60% of ballots across the country will have people who feel the exact same way as candidates, that this person in the White House should not be in the White House. And the primary issue is what Kaylee was talking about, just that idea of the disinformation that was out there and how we as Americans weren't allowed to know what was true about Hunter Biden, and having it questioned in such a way that if you even questioned it, you got stickered on Twitter.
Exactly.
Like, as a journalist, Michelle, I'm like questioning, well, okay, well, this happens. Have you been to YouTube? Have you seen what he was doing? The timing of that audio with his dad crying, and you get it. You feel for the parents of drug-addicted kids. This is a grown man, though. The timing of that was that he had just lied, a felony, to purchase a weapon. He'd been driving around with an unlocked gun in the back of his car, and his father didn't think it's time to get some help here, and we might have to go legal on this, because look at who I am.
That's right.
The problem with this whole letter that was signed by these 15 intel people is that it's so intellectually dishonest to say, well, all we were saying is it had the earmarks and we weren't trying to influence anything. The hell you weren't. Then why did you publish the letter if you weren't trying to influence anything and you got out ahead of the story? Yeah, maybe everybody verified the laptop well after the election, but this letter was produced in advance of the election and Jen Psaki used it from the White House podium to say, this letter, these people signed this, or wherever she said it, you know, this has all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. That letter was a tool. And to deny that it had a purpose is just completely intellectually
Candidate
dishonest.
Biden referenced it in his debate with
Yes, he
President
did.
Trump. It was
Yes, he did.
absolutely used as a tool.
There's no question.
And the irony, David, is the fact that, as Priess talked about in that interview, that the hallmark of dissemination and propaganda throughout the media, again, that's exactly what was used by these Democratic operatives, these progressive operatives, to try to sway the election and to further the disinformation that it was not Hunter's verified laptop.
This is a pivotal moment for the Justice Department in restoring its credibility with many Americans. And you'd like to see a group of former DOJ employees come out and make that very case, that it is, as we have seen in the past done, that it's time for us to have true transparency in this process. And let's also say that this is a time for DOJ to step up, because as more Americans focus on crime, if you have a Justice Department that is supporting the type of policies that you're getting out of Krasner and these prosecuting attorneys that won't prosecute crimes, you're going to have an American people that's pretty upset.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.